Now, halftime shows have long been an established part of Super Bowl Sunday, but could they soon be coming to the World Cup? Well, Chief Reporter Cavi Solokol alongside me. Cavi, what can you tell us about this?
I'm going to do my best not to come across as a grumpy old man. Okay. But what I can tell you is that we are going to have halftime shows in World Cup finals starting next year. Now, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I know a lot of traditionalists will say it's a bad thing. Why are we getting it? It's because Gianni Infantino, the FIFA president, I think has seen how successful they've been at the NFL Super Bowl. And he's been in Dallas. He's been at a meeting with FIFA's commercial and media partners. And he has said that he's got some very, very exciting plans to share with the world, which is why he's taken to Instagram and he's posted a message saying that he can confirm the first ever halftime show at the FIFA World Cup final in New York, New Jersey. This will be a historic moment for the FIFA World Cup. I grew up thinking that World Cup finals were historic anyway, and we will have a show befitting the biggest sporting event in the world. So Gianni Infantino, the FIFA president, confirming that from next summer in New York, New Jersey, we will have a halftime show at the World Cup final.
Now, you mentioned the game's traditionalists there, perhaps being horrified. What does it mean in terms of timing? Is there a chance that it means that halftime might go on for even longer? What are the implications there?
Well, I think if you watch the halftime shows at the Super Bowl, they are very, very slick. You know, they have big sets, but everything is moved on and off the pitch very, very quickly. But you still think that it's going to need more than the 15 minutes that we get at the moment in World Cup finals to have a big halftime show. It all depends what Gianni Infantino has got in mind. He said that he is teaming up with two members of Coldplay, including the lead singer Chris Martin, who are going to be involved in producing the show. So I suppose we have to wait and see what the show is going to look like. But traditionalists will be saying you cannot extend half-time. Traditionalists will be saying, we don't need a half-time show anyway. OK, you know, I like the NFL, I like Super Bowl. It's great, but I watch it for the sport, not the half-time show. But a lot of people like the half-time show. I can see you're nodding your head. So I suppose people will be saying, look, what are you complaining about? Stop being a grumpy old man. The world changes. It's all about entertainment. You're going to have the football anyway. Why not have a show produced by Coldplay? And judging by the kind of acts and superstars that the Super Bowl attracts, I'm sure we're talking A-list acts, bands, singers, rappers, whatever you want. I'm sure Chris Martin and his friends will be working hard to make sure that it is, as Gianni Infantino says, a historic show befitting the biggest sporting event in the world.
Is there already talk about what act may be in contention?
Well, you know what? In the past few minutes, I've been looking back at the history of halftime shows in the Super Bowl, and they started off as the entertainment was provided by college marching bands. It was only since the 1990s that we've been getting pop and rock stars at halftime. I think it all started with New Kids on the Block, probably a bit before your time, back in 1991. But since then, I mean, it's just a who's who of pop and rock music. Michael Jackson, Diana Ross, Aerosmith, U2, Janet Jackson, Paul McCartney, Rolling Stones, Prince, Bruce Springsteen, The Who, Madonna, Beyonce, Bruno Mars, Katy Perry, Coldplay themselves in 2016, Lady Gaga, Justin Timberlake, Maroon 5, Shakira, Jennifer Lopez, The Weeknd, Dr. Dre, Rihanna, Usher, Kendrick Lamar. So, I mean, you know, Chris Martin's got his work cut out because he's going to have to make sure that the show he comes up with can compare to the shows we've had in the Super Bowl. But I think I'm a little bit of a traditionalist. You know, I like music, I like football as well, but there's a time for football and there's a time for music. And I think the time for music is not the World Cup final. But that's just my own personal opinion. Yeah. If I was Gianni Infantino, maybe I'd be thinking of trying to get ABBA to reform and get them to play Money, Money, Money at half-time, because that is what this is all about.
See, I think it's about the fun, Cavi. I love sport, I love music, I love watching music in sporting venues. I mean, you see it, for example, I go up to Murrayfield, watch the rugby sometimes. They have great halftime shows, quite often a little musical act at halftime. Do you think they'll bring it to the UK? Do you think it could just be because it's in the USA?
No, that's a good point. From the tone of what Gianni Infantino is saying and the way he's announced it, I think it's here to stay. And I think FIFA have looked at how successful the Super Bowl shows have been. Sometimes more people watch the halftime shows than watch the actual game. And obviously that is invaluable when it comes to advertisers. So it brings in the money. Interestingly, I was at the FT Business of Football Summit in London on Thursday. Todd Boehly, the Chelsea chairman and co-owner, was talking, and he was a big fan of what the NFL are doing. And you feel that, especially a lot of these American investors who are involved in football are now thinking, look, there's a lot football can learn from the NFL. And I think the halftime show is just one thing we're going to see. Actually, there's a big event I forgot to mention involving the third place playoff, because Gianni Infantino has also said FIFA will take over Times Square for the bronze final match. And that's something we see in the Super Bowl as well. It's not just about the game, it's not just about the day, it's about the week. There are lots of events leading up to it. And I think that's something that FIFA is going to be looking at for the World Cup next summer as well. I should actually mention the World Cup next year is in USA, Mexico and Canada.